Welcome to episode 30 of FTB Infinity Evolved Expert Mode, and all my lovely ender pearls are growing. More on that later. I do have a solution for that, I think, but more on it later. To start with, just created a clipboard from Bibliocraft, and you see that first item? I've been looking forward to this one. So you may remember I've been crafting these resonant jetpacks. Let me just actually show you the rest of them. And they're fairly laborious to get through. So, for example, the leadstone one is quite simple. These leadstone thrusters, these steam dynamos, which is again a bit more complicated. But you go through those tiers. I showed you how to create the first one. I have pretty much skipped through showing you the rest because they're all the same thing. They just require the previous, well, not always the previous tier, but in the case of the flux capacitors, the previous tier. And then you go upwards through the levels. So we've got the heart reinforced ones, you get the idea. The resonant ones, which is the one I'm currently wearing. And that needs a reinforced jetpack, etc. So you're upgrading the same jetpack as you actually go through. I did also add armor plating to it, and this is the expensive bit. Enderium armor plating is 10 Enderium ingots, plus Invar, which is 10 Invar, plus bronze, which is bronze, plus iron, and iron is iron and tin and a cross, and that kind of thing. So yes, it's expensive, and I couldn't really do it until I had enough of those things. I just couldn't justify it. There's no way I could hunt down that many Endermen. So, we're now up to the last one, and the last one is this, the Flux-infused jet plate. Don't worry, a lot of this stuff I've done off camera, so you can just see the final result. But just to briefly explain some of these, Flux armor plating is probably the most important part of this. You're going to need like 16 plus of these things, if I remember rightly. Flux electrum ingot is just electrum with redstone over it in a magma crucible fluid transposer. These flux crystals are just a diamond with redstone poured over it, again in the same machines. And you make lots of them. So for example, this flux infused jet plate is 8 of them, 9, 10. And the flux thrusters, 11, 12, and some of these may also, they certainly require the ingots, so you're going to be, think about a stack and a half of these ingots, and you're getting close. So yeah, just bear this in mind, this is not a simple recipe. So those top three we've covered. The cryotheum coolant units are fairly easy to make. Tin, more of the flux electrum ingots, and hardened glass. Pour jelly cryotheum, which is cryotheum dust, which is niter, snowballs, electrotine, and bliss powder, and you get bliss powder from pouring redstone onto snowballs. So there's a lot of pouring redstone in this. And then moving on to the flux thrusters, they're the previous tier of thrusters, which are, it requires an innovation dynamo. Again, these are all the things you've seen so far in the series. This you probably haven't, the resonant flux duct, but they require redstone energy flux ducts, which I have shown, Enderium shit gear, which I've shown, and this, which I haven't. And this is obsidian dust clay, redstone, and basalt's powder. Basalt's powder is just pulverized obsidian with redstone. So again, lots and lots of pouring redstone. Many stacks of redstone being used here. And the glowstone elevation units are similar kind of crafting. You need this illuminator frame, which requires signalum in this pack. If not in others. Aluminum, which I've shown before, and then pour redstone into there. So lastly, the resonant flux pack, and this is what makes this different from just a jetpack, because it also allows for charging. So the flux pack, as you might imagine, is made up, if I go down deep enough, redstone energy cell is in there, and a leadstone energy cell. So you're going to have to make those, and then more Enderium. Yet more Enderium. But I did all that off camera because that would have taken up a full episode, if not more. It took me hours to get all these components. So I got all of them together, and that was yesterday after the recording of the previous episode. And now I should be able to get the final thing, Flux-infused jet plate. Now, the previous tier was already pretty fast, but yeah, let's take a run up here because this tends to be quite fast indeed. So I can use the hang glider as normal, but I don't really need to use that if I just drop down for a second. These things have a tendency to turn on hover mode when I don't want them to, but so I'll just take a run up. There we go, and I'm in hover mode. And I'm now traveling around pretty fast. it gets a bit slow when you turn around. So usually the best thing to do is to take a run up and flip into hover mode as you actually go forward. And yeah, I should be able to use that pretty well. It should also, however, charge anything that needs RF in my inventory, I think. It's been a while. There's no way this thing is going to charge it up with any kind of reasonable time period. Just watch, it's just going to drain everything. And yeah, this isn't even moving yet. It's a fifth full now, which I'll keep it for now. So with that in mind, that's the first thing off the list, and probably the best thing short of creative flight, short of our angel wings. And the other advantage compared to the other jetpacks is when you put it in hover mode and you take off and hover, whoops, not when you've got this running, you'll see I don't move down. I'm just hovering. All the previous tiers of jetpack do actually drops very slowly when you're in hover mode. So this one allows you to just basically hover. It will run out unlike angel wings, but it's probably a lot faster than angel wings, so take your pick. Enderpearl Auto will come back to because I need some more blood. Let me just test on that one. How much have I got here? Maybe enough for one more or two more. Will you use up all the blood? What I'm doing here is crafting another row of blood runes, and that's because the component that you need to be able to it's not for Tesseracts. This is for the Enderpearl automation. It's called the Aggrecarnation. One of my commenters suggested it, and it looks a pretty good option. It doesn't act like bone meal, apparently. It acts like growth ticks, so that's just what I wanted. But one of the components of this is a rune of spring, and one of the components of this is the demonic slate, which is the third imbued slate. Was it imbued slate? Maybe demonic's the next one up. Yeah, it requires a tier 3 altar, which I don't have. So in order to do that, I kind of need to craft a few more blood runes. So I'm going to have to sacrifice some more blood to do that, which is fine. One of my contestants did say that you can get blood from zombie flesh in a smeltery. Unfortunately, that doesn't work in this pack. If anyone has any ideas to make that work, I've tried putting it into the controller, tried dropping it in molten metal. Neither one work, but yeah, I'm more than happy to get blood from another source. I can, of course, set up an animal farm and go in the sacrifice route, which will get blood as well, but I'm not doing that for now. So while that's cooking up, let's move on to Tesseracts. Tesseracts, finally. We do actually need to make octadic capacitors for these, so luckily I have the components for those. I've been making a few of them already. I'm going to need 2 more, I think. And then where are you? I think you're in here. Yes. There we go. So 2 Tesseract frames. We've seen all these components before, so there's nothing new here. We finally got Tesseract frames. However, we do need to fill them, and to fill them we need ender pearls. So are you mature? You are. So are you, and so are you. Let me just put this back on. Are there any more? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. That may be enough. Let's just get a 5th one just because. Ow. And yeah, I've only got 4. Maybe one of them wasn't mature. Ender pearls. How many do I have? 5. I'm gonna need another 4. And let's look up Tesseract, shall we? So silver and bronze, and so let's order some of that. So I'm going to need 8 bronze. Order that up, and silver, which is no big deal. I've got a lot of silver now from the automated miner. There's my ender pearls. So let's fill these frames. Let's, again, our usual machines. Put these in here. Put these in here. I think the 250 millibuckets each, so this should require 8 for 2 of these. It requires 1,000 millibuckets to fill. We'll see. Yeah, it's 250 each, so that should fill nicely. We've got the silver, the bronze may take a little while because that needs to go through a machine. Ah, yeah, one's filling. Cool. Very much looking forward to these. Mainly I'm crafting these to actually get rid of me having to move the stuff from the automatic miner around all over the place. Stop me needing an MFE out there. I can just hook up a Tesseract and that will do a full run. Right now an MFE isn't capable of doing a full run. It will be about 2/3 of a run and then it will run out near the bottom. So just so that I can carry this around. That's fine. We've got 2 filled. And let's see if we've got our bronze yet. We have. Cool. So bronze there. And 2 Tesseracts. Oh, great. So we could do a few things. I could connect them inside, and that may be what I should do longer term. But at the moment, this is actually... it's connecting through the wall as well. Maybe that shouldn't work. But it is. So what I could do for the time being is just put... Oh, this jet plate needs a little bit of help. If I put... is the output on top? It is. So if I put one there... And let's set you to main power, channel 1, say frequency, and we're going to set this to just get rid of all those energy modes, so energy sending, and always on, frequency -1. There we go, set, and it's on. Cool. So now we can just head out to where our miner is and replace one thing with another. But we are going to need some, probably, I don't know if we should make some HV. I don't think there'll be any power loss in the distances we're talking about, but MV, we'll just take one of those and 2 of these. Let's head out there. Love this thing. Absolutely love this thing. Here we go. So let's get, first of all, let's just collect. In fact, did it finish its run? It has. So yeah, let me just take that back, put it somewhere else. It's back in my pouch. I should make another dolly actually. Worthwhile over time. Ah! He keeps trying to think I'm going to die and puts me into hover mode. I'm not going to die. Really, I've got long fall boots. Yeah, let's just get rid of you and replace it. Where is it? There it is. So we just need to move it along a little bit. Oh my, that's slow. Yeah, about here will do. Don't have to be exact. Let's put this back down. And now, probably want a bit of space for this, other than unlike the other one. Put you on top. Set you to restart and put you down. Set you to main power, yes, and then receiving all is fine. Enabled, ignored, and then we can just put these down. 1, 2, and there we go. That should work. That's not moving, but then this is such a huge buffer. There's 4 million EU in there. So I don't see any reason why that doesn't work. I will keep an eye on it just in case though. So that's our Tesseracts, first Tesseracts build, and there'll be probably many more of those. I'll just have to do them off camera. I'm probably going to have to automate octadic capacitors because they just take a while to make. Yeah, and these just to remind you of how to make the blood runes, just like this. And yes, we can put it down. It's a bit laborious to get these. You can go for the upgraded ones, but the upgraded ones are even worse. They require some more cross-mod stuff, so I just need to get some of the components really in this side of things. So that is that. So we've got Tesseracts done. Ender Pearl requires those blood runes, so I will have to go camera to do that one with the skeletons. Right, with the skeletons. And usually how I do this is with an MFR auto spawner and an MFR grinder. There are, however, some disadvantages with that. One of the main disadvantages is that you don't get wither skeleton heads all that often. You do get them, don't get me wrong, and that does happen, but you just don't get them that often. And there may be a better way of doing it with something called a Killer Joe, which is an Ender IO item or block. So let's just get the auto spawner out of the way first, because that's something we should sort out. Okay, so magma cream, a couple of emeralds. I'm getting low on emeralds, but that's okay. Do I have any magma cream? No. And that is, yeah, blaze powder. Hopefully I have some of that. And slime. Take another couple of that. I'm going to want some plastic sheets. And I'm going to order 4 because I need... I don't need 4 if I use the Killer Joe. But that should be fine. Oops, wrong recipe. There we go, 2 magma creams. 2 plastic sheets. And we're going to require a machine frame. Just 1. And what was the rest? It was something like, oh, emeralds and reception coil, and okay. Reception coil, order 1. Emeralds order 2. And what was the last stuff? Oh, nether wart. Okay. Should have enough of that. Just 1. So here's a machine frame. Here's our emeralds. Nether wart. And where's my reception coil? That should be one of the quicker things to craft. That shouldn't take a minute. I also need the wither skeleton item. Here it is. Safari net reusable with a skeleton in it. And it's a wither skeleton, so we're going to use spawn exact copy mode to do this. And I'm going to need to dig out a space for it, so I wonder. I'm thinking of all the stuff down there for the tech side of things, the nuclear reactors, so not really all that useful. However, maybe on the back here, because yeah, I want it, away from the rest of my base. So I think I may well dig out this area a little bit, and we'll come back and show you once it's done. All right, so we've got a setup here, including an on-off switch. I'm probably not going to be able to complete it this episode because I forgot about one thing: power. The Tesseract, which means lots more Ender Pearls. So I'll come back to that next episode and we'll finish it off just to get that going. But just to briefly show you what's going on here, if I just go back here, I've got Ender IO insulated redstone conduit, and that joins here for an energy conduit, so I can put a power source here if I want to. Do bear in mind that when you actually do this, let's just grab this for a second, put it back. What? Put it back. Oh, hang on, that's the wrong kind, that's why. There we go. It's not going to join up to this lever, so this won't do anything. So if you just go with your crescent hammer, right click on this face, then it will. So this is currently down, and down corresponds to off. You see this idle timer is not ticking down. Make sure spawn exact copy is set to yes, and that should be good. Yeah, the power isn't hooked up yet, so that's what I did mention. So let's just look at that for a second. And also you need mob essence for this, which is back here, via an ender tank. And the ender tank's coming from our XP farm. It doesn't need any kind of servo because you just flip this around and you get ender mob essence into there. And those power conduits are going all the way down underneath to the back of that. So once I hook up some power here, or maybe back there where I showed you, everything should just work fine. And indeed, if I were to, I'm not sure if there's enough power in the machine itself to start this up. Oh, we've got an Enderman head. We can just put that in there. And this will probably just hoover up all the power. We'll see. Yeah, there's no work happening. There goes all the power. And there's not enough to actually start something. So, yeah, I couldn't even spawn one manually. But that's fine for now. I will either do a grinder or a Killer Joe next episode. Once I've figured out how to create more Tesseracts without just watching these slowly. Speaking of watching those slowly, let's actually see if we can get them growing faster. So there's two remaining things there. One is the tier 3 blood altar, which I've made. I was planning to use these all the way into this area as well, which you saw me building last episode. These don't actually matter. They're just decoration. This ring, it's just decoration. So you can use whatever block you want. I've just left it with dirt at the moment. So the main ones that do actually matter are these blood runes here, 5 per side. 1 out and 1 down from the previous. And then these don't matter either. I've used Skystone, looks kind of nice, but the glowstone do. So I suppose, I'm not sure if you can even do without these blocks being there at all, but that should be fine. So if I right click on the altar, it says current tier 3. So if I just for a second turn this off, I should be able to put this back in because there's over 5k life points in there. Let's just keep on making sure it's filled. There we go. And it's going to tick down, and it should give me well, it's draining fast, so it should give me the 3rd tier. There we go. Which I can then use over here to make a rune of spring, I think. There we go. I'm going to need some living wood. Let's go and grab some of that. Do I have any inside? Living wood slabs. The only problem with this jetpack is it jumps so high when you actually press space that low ceilings just basically, yeah, you just bounce off them. Bear that one in mind. Yes, this is ready now. Was my wand of the forest? It shouldn't really affect anything on that altar, but. Stay. There we go. Oh, cool, and I get the others back. Did not know that was going to happen. And happy about it, to be honest. Want to make more of those. So we've got the Rune of Spring, so we can then make the rest of the aggregation. It's the Petal Apothecary, so that should all be fine. Lime, green, and yellow. So one of you. Lime, yellow, green. And probably one of those redstone twigs as well, I think. Redstone root. I'm guessing there's going to be some in the system. Is there? I wonder. While I'm talking about that, hopefully you guys... Oops, that's the end of jest. Yeah, do you have any suggestions from what you've seen this episode? Anything you see wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments. More than happy to hear them as normal. That's the redstone root, and I just want some seeds as well. Doesn't matter what kind. Yeah, do let me know in the comments. Obviously, we're going to be getting on to a lot more automation in the background. I will be eventually just completely automating the making of Tesseracts using the auto crafting system. It just takes a bit of effort because there's a lot of things going in place there. There's the aggrecarnation and some seeds, and I've got the aggrecarnation. So this should need only, let's just get back over here. This should only need a nearby mana pool. I'm not sure if the one I've got is nearby enough, but I will keep an eye on it. once I actually am able to get to it through all of this. Let's just try and... Ow! Ah. Okay, fine. I will just float and do it. Ow. Ah. So I hope this is close enough. If it isn't, then I'll put another man and pool in. It won't be too much of a big deal. Where's my aggregation? This will only affect... Oh, that seems like it's working. It's got a particle effect. This will only affect the ones on the ender cores, however. I've mentioned that before. It's important, but we should have a bit of a solution for that. Let's go and... I need to make something else as well. Let's just go and grab ender tank. I don't have any spare in the system, but I do have what I need, so iron plates. 21 of them. Wool. I am going to have to make animal farms, sheep farms, cow farms, etc., etc. fairly soon. I've got one of these left. I'm going to need some crushed obsidian. And that should be it, I think. Yeah. That is the ender tank recipe, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And I've got some dye, which is what we want. 3 cauldrons. Once that comes up to 21, 20, 21. And a piece of wool. 4 crushed obsidian. And my last ender tank frame. However, I will be able to make more of that. I am going to need to dye this the right colour though. Let's go and look at our XP farm, because I did make a slight change and I may have mentioned it, may have not mentioned it. If I didn't, there's the horse again. That thing is amazing. It's going to be lime white. So if I just put this down for a second, I can then dye it lime, because it won't the XP. Yeah, this is pointing down now, and the sewer's down there. So it gets equally distributed, or roughly equal, 60,000 and 140,000 essence. So quite a lot going from just this simple farm. And that's the way we want things to run, really. We don't want anything complicated there. Now, there is a block that I should create. Obelisk. Not sure if I should do it now or later. It's the experience one. Solarium, energetic. I do have all this stuff, but I'll just show it briefly at the start of next episode. That's fine. Wow. I love this jetpack. Okay, so we've already got this tank. So I could put it here, flip this around, and hopefully it'll drain into here. If it doesn't, then that's not a problem. But what this does mean is that I can now grab... What's the magical wood recipe? Yeah, I can now grab the higher tier versions of these, which should give me more of this stuff, which should make ender cores really quite trivial. So if I just grab... Oh, there's no books left. Fine, let's grab some books, some gold, and a bookshelf. Just to finish off the episode. Something really kind of satisfying. And there's theme again. I will sort that out later. Bookshelf. I've only got one, so let's just order a stack of books, shall we? And planks. Stack of those as well. And I won't do this all on camera, of course. I just want a couple more books. Head back over. And I'm just going to right click on this and get up to 30 levels. Put a book in place. I don't really much care what this actually is. Blast protection 4. Nah, don't care. Let's give me some more. It may well be filling from either the barrel or this. I don't, again, mind. Unless... Fortune 2, Protection 3, Smite 4. Okay. If I get Silk Touch, I might keep the Silk Touch. Otherwise, I don't think I'm actually going to need it, to be honest. Yes, fine. Ah. I'm going to keep the Silk Touch just because it's useful for other things too. And just throw some of this away for a second. I've got nothing to throw away in my inventory. Okay, just one more. Fire Aspect 2, yeah, that's pretty worthless. I wish the enchantment table kept the inventory, but since it's a vanilla item, we can't really expend miracles. And there we go, another 4 tier. Well, 30 level enchant. I mentioned previously, commenter did say Flim Flam 4 will get you lots of magical wood, but it is a hell of a recipe as well. It's 8 emeralds, and I don't really have an emerald source at the moment, so make sure I'm not getting rid of the ones I want. No, that's fine. It's 8 emeralds, and I don't want to get rid of that at the moment. It's somewhat annoying. There we go. Bookshelf, and I'm going to need 4 gold as well. So let's just check how many this gives us. 1 bookshelf and 4 gold, please. Four gold? There we go. 11. So that's not too bad. I can put it with these. You know, get some more ender cores relatively easy. Obviously, I've got ender pearls now, so the ender infused obsidian should not be a problem. Neither should be the eye of ender in the middle. So this is going to be relatively good, to be honest. And we can do that. Now, the ender obelisk will make it even easier, but we'll come to that next episode. For the meantime, I'm just going to get rid of you. Drop on top of you and replace the lily seed. And then I'll keep an eye on those to see if the aggro carnation is doing its work. More news next episode. So, hope you've enjoyed this episode. We've got some amazing jetpack now. We've got Skeleton Farm on the way. We've got these finally, hopefully, being sped up, at least the 3 at the back. And I can probably tick that off. We'll see next episode, maybe. Wither Skeleton is continuing next episode, and more importantly, we've got Tesseracts. Finally, a way to not have to cable all over your base, but it is still pretty expensive, so we need the Ender Pearl automation to make that cheap. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode. Thumbs down if you haven't. Please leave a comment if you'd like to see anything coming up, or if you'd like to make suggestions. Tell me I'm doing something wrong. And of course, subscribe and follow me on Twitter at Greyduster if you'd like to. Next episode, finishing off that Wither Skeleton Farm with some Ender IO goodness, I think, probably the Killer Joe. And yeah, I'll see you then if you care to join me. Thanks for watching.